Greetings, Japan fans. In today's show, we're looking at mistakes. Maishu, arigatou gozaimasu, and welcome back to the 9th year of the Leadership Japan series. And I'm your host in Tokyo, Dr. Greg Stroy, your corporate coaching and training guy committed to your success, president of Dale Carnegie Training Tokyo, Japan, and the 3-time best-selling author of Japan Sales Mastery, Japan Business Mastery, and Japan Presentations Mastery. My new book in Japanese, Za Eigyo, is available on Amazon. We are broadcasting around the world from Minato-ku in the center of Tokyo, the leadership capital of Japan. It brings insights, examples, and experience about leading in Japan. And trust me, it is different here. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with your family, friends, and colleagues. We are not being sponsored by Libsyn, but we value your privacy, which is why we have our podcast hosted by Libsyn, who, unlike many other podcast hosts, have a strict policy that does not allow access to your private information by anyone. Here is our daily podcast lineup on iTunes. Mondays, the Cutting Edge Japan Business Show. Tuesdays, the Presentations Japan series. Every second Tuesday, the Business Tatsujin no Oshie Show. Wednesdays, the Sales Japan series. Thursdays, the Leadership Japan series. And every second Thursday, the Business Pro Podcast Show. Fridays, the Japan Business Mastery Show. And Saturdays, Japan's top business interviews. Before we get going, today's handy Japanese phrase is natsukashi. Natsukashi. Oh, gee, that brings back memories. How nostalgic. Oh, yeah, I remember that. Natsukashi. Yeah, natsukashi. Yeah, something. You know, you see a movie or a commercial or something that you haven't seen for a while and you just remember it and you just say, oh, yeah, I remember that. Wow, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, natsukashi, 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 natsukashi. Again, this is all very informal. It's talking between friends. You would not say that to the client. You would say to the client, natsukashi de gozaimasu. Something a bit more polite. But between friends, you just say, natsukashi ne, natsukashi. This is episode number 462. And today we are talking about how to get mistake handling right. Out of all things we do as leaders, one of the most difficult is dealing with poor or substandard performance. Inside that broad spectrum, there are crime, sabotage, toxic people, idiocy, and people on the wrong bus or on the right bus but in the wrong seat. The most common recognition points concerning poor performance are missing deadlines, poor quality of the work submitted, not making the sales quota, and mistakes. Mistakes tend to be public events, and so the team are watching how you deal with them. Your credibility with your people and their consequent loyalty to you can be clearly compromised if you get this wrong. I joined the rest of the seniors in the firm for the weekly meeting in this quite tight meeting room with the new group president. With so many people crammed in there, it was a bit claustrophobic on a good day. He had a resume that was platinum, a prince among men, an elite double alumnus of one of the best varsities, highly intelligent, and a bootstrap, self-made executive. He arrived in the organization and quickly had fired our boss, so he was taking care of us until the new head was appointed. In the first meeting, I happened to be seated opposite him, but ever so fortunately, not directly in front of him. I mention this because it became very important in subsequent weekly meetings. He was not satisfied with our results. Unlike one of those amazing super sports cars, he went from 0 to 100 in seconds and exploded with rage, decalcifying the spines of those unfortunates who chose the cheap seats directly in front of him. Observing this phenomena and preferring a better quality of work life, I purposely chose the same side of the table where he would sit and made sure I was well down toward the end of the table. You actually have to lean around and contort your body to excoriate someone seated in my location, so I just calmly observed the weekly humiliation of those seated in the death zone. What was our opinion of this corporate prince? How were the trust levels? What about the loyalty factor? Trust me, they are all exceedingly bad. I was astonished that someone with his pedigree, in his position, could get to the top without the ability to control his emotions and anger. As a side note, he subsequently chose the completely wrong person for the job of head of our business, and everyone in that room departed from the firm and the business was effectively destroyed. Actually, he destroyed the group, and eventually he was shown the door himself. So the radius on the circle of karma is shorter than we all think. I occasionally run into him, and even now, many years later, all I can think about were those brutal torture sessions. This boss rageathon is clearly what not to do. So how do we handle mistakes so that we don't blow up the whole enterprise? There are multiple stages to handling mistakes, and we will approach an important fork in the road depending on how the person reacts to their mistake. Let's investigate the stages. Stage 1, research. We have to ignore what we might be told by others about what happened and get the real facts. Oh, you can't believe what Tanaka has done now is the character assassin's technique for removing rivals or people they don't like. They try to mold our opinion about what has happened and poison the well. We simply must ignore this type of talk and take careful note of the motives of the messenger. We shouldn't have any views on the mistake until we've gathered all the relevant detail. If the mistake is a large one, we start the research with the question, is the person worth saving in the back of our minds? Stage 2, begin with rapport. Rapport is like a bank account of good relations and mutual trust built up over a long time. We draw on this when we start the discussion. We want to put them at ease and reduce their anxiety. We give them some honest appreciation about other aspects of their work, and we support it with evidence to make it credible. We should be referring to their positive behaviour we've observed. The more specific we can make these remarks, the better, because that indicates the comments are sincere, genuine, and thought through. We use Dale Carnegie's principle number 22, begin with praise and honest appreciation. Find out more when we come back from the break. Our show today is brought to you by our public programs, but we also do custom-made in-house classes. Now, we do them in our super safe classroom, we do them live online, and we do them in Japanese, and we do them in English. Our show today is being brought to you by, on the 13th of May, we'll be doing our course previews. On the 18th of May, the Dale Carnegie course. 19-20 May, we'll be doing the High Impact Presentations course. Our website is www.dale-carnegie, carnegie.co.jp. You can email me at greg.story@dalecarnegie.com. If you like learning by watching videos, then we have over 1,000 for you there at Tokyo, Japan, Dale Carnegie TV on YouTube. Get my best-selling books, Japan Sales Mastery, the Bible for Selling in Japan, and Japan Business Mastery, as well as my new book, Japan Presentations Mastery. We release 3 TV shows every week on YouTube. The Cutting Edge Japan Business Show, that's a premier business show in Japan, comes out Mondays. Fridays we have Japan Business Mastery Show. Saturdays, Japan's top business interviews, where I interview leaders in Japan from SMEs all the way up to the corporate captains of industry on one topic, leading in Japan. Every second Thursday, we release the Business Pro Television Show. Don't forget, you can email me at greg.story@dalecarnegie.com. Welcome back. Stage 3. Reference the mistake or issue. It is important we focus on the problem, not the human being. We have to depersonalize the problem. We need to let them tell us what happened and then tell them what we know about it to fill in any gaps or correct any misunderstandings. In reality, we are carefully listening to them to see if they are taking responsibility for what happened or whether they are trying to avoid accountability. Depending on their reaction, we will take a predetermined course of action. To create a more psychologically safe environment, we use principle number 24. Talk about our own mistakes before criticizing the other person. Stage 4A. Restore if they accept accountability. We appreciate that they have taken responsibility for what happened, and we work with them to fix the problem and make sure it doesn't happen again. We know that they are feeling bad about what happened, and this can diminish their motivation. We are focused on encouraging them to keep going and stay with the company. We use principle number 26, let the other person save face. Stage 4B. We state the facts and seriousness of what they did. They are not accepting responsibility. They are blaming others and resisting our attempts to help them through this. We will be referencing internal compliance rules and company policy to make it clear that the mistake is not going to be tolerated. We can use principle number 28. Give the other person a fine reputation to live up to and appeal to their nobler side, to face up to their responsibility and not try to push it off onto others. We tell them, I know you're a real professional and self-confident enough to take accountability for your work, so let's work together to recover from this incident. Stage 5A, reassure. We know that failure is a bitter experience and motivation and commitment suffers. They are down on confidence, will not be able to work to their full potential. Our job is to reassure them they have a place here, they are valued, and we support them. They can come back from this, and we will help them to do so. We can employ principle number 29. Use encouragement. Make the fault seem easy to correct. Stage 5B, reinforce. When people resist taking responsibility, we need to make it clear. They need to be accountable, and resisting is not acceptable behavior. Often companies have specific policies and actions for this purpose. We have to make it clear that unless they take personal accountability, these next steps will be triggered. Stage 6A, retain. If we have been a skilled communicator throughout this process, the individual will feel they can recover from the mistake and their career is not in jeopardy. They won't quit the company and will in fact do their best to try harder to succeed. We make some suggestions, use principle number 30. Make the other person happy about doing the thing you suggest. Stage 6B, replace. If the person continues to deny responsibility, we may conclude they are not a good fit for this work or team. If they have strengths and abilities, there may be another area within the firm which may be more suitable for them. They may have reached the same conclusion and may welcome a fresh chance somewhere else in the firm. If we've been coaching them, but they remain a problem, then we may need to release them from the organisation. In today's job market, they will have a good chance of finding a much better suited job for their future. I know from my own personal experience that if you're working in an organisation which doesn't suit you, every day is excruciating. It is better to find a job where you enjoy the work and can make a contribution. We need to point out some basic truths to the person and let them see leaving as a positive step for all concerned. We're not handling mistakes in a vacuum. Everyone is watching how we handle them. If we are vicious with one person, then the rapid assumption is we're going to be dishing it out to the observers as well one day in the future. In this current zero-sum game, war for talent, we don't want to be losing people because of our inability to properly deal with substandard performance. These are the clear steps for how we can handle mistakes. They're not particularly complex or hard, but they do require superior levels of listening and communication. We all need to make sure we are up to the task. Thank you for joining the Leadership Japan series. If you found the program useful, then share it with your family, friends, and colleagues. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast. Take what you found valuable, immediately put it into action, because idea application is what makes winners winners. Be one of them. Remember, I'm your corporate coaching and training guy in your corner, committed to your success here in Nippon.